because the current chairman at the Federal Reserve Bank is seeing his term expire, President Trump in the government can appoint a new chairperson at the Federal Reserve Bank. That's why it's so significant that Kevin Warsh is entering the Federal Reserve Bank right now, because there's already a lot of controversy about what's happening in the economy, what's happening geopolitically, what's happening with a lot of different parts of the world. And so now the question is, what's going to happen to our money? What's going to happen to the stock market? What's going to happen to people's retirements? Because Kevin Warsh has made it very clear that he wants to shrink the balance sheet at the Federal Reserve Bank. Now, what that means technically is the Federal Reserve Bank, when it goes out and prints money, it lends it to the United States government by buying treasuries. Well, these treasuries, when the Federal Reserve Bank buys them with the printed money, they sit on the Federal Reserve Bank's balance sheet. So when you hear the news that the Federal Reserve Bank wants to reduce their balance sheet, what that means is they want to sell these treasuries, which technically means the Federal Reserve Bank wants to reduce the amount of money in our economy. They want to pull some of that money out. Now, we've seen this happen before. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, we saw quantitative easing happen. The Federal Reserve Bank started printing money, and that money was then injected into our economy. Well, we saw the consequence of that. We saw high inflation in 2020 and 2021 and into 2022, and that was when the Federal Reserve Bank in 2022 said, we need to stop this quantitative easing. And instead of quantitative easing, they started quantitative tightening. What's quantitative tightening? Well, it's the opposite of this. Instead of creating money, it's trying to pull money out of the economy. So between 2022 to 2025, we saw this quantitative tightening happen. The Federal Reserve Bank was reducing their balance sheet by selling off these treasuries. What that means is they're trying to pull money out of the economy as a way to cool inflation down, and that is something that we saw happen. The inflation rate slowed down from 2022 to 2023 to 2024 and into 2025. Well, in 2026, we saw the inflation rate spike up again, partially due to the RMP, partially due to high oil prices, partially due to all the other things that are happening in the world. But this is where you have to ask a very important question. If the Federal Reserve Bank is not lending money to the United States government, and the government is still spending money that they don't have, where's the government going to get this money from? And according to Kevin Warsh, what he says is that there's going to be enough private demand out there to fulfill the needs of these treasuries. Meaning, even if the Federal Reserve Bank is not lending money to the government, there'll be enough private demand from these people right here, private institutions, people like you and me, plus foreign governments, to continue lending money to the United States government. Well, there's a couple things you have to understand about that, because that also poses some risks. Because of all the changes happening in the economy right now, I'm hosting a live, free, and virtual investor workshop on June 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, noon, where I'm going to be going over, number one, how the economy is changing, and number two, how you can build wealth through these changes in the economy. That way you can build wealth outside of just your 401k, outside of just your house, because when you have all these changes happening with money, all these changes happening in our government, all these changes happening with AI and technologies, all of these create panic, but they also create opportunities. And some people are going to become incredibly wealthy because of them. And on June 16th, I'm going to be showing you my firm's research as to where money is moving and how we can create better investment opportunities for you. It's a free workshop and it's live, but you do have to register to reserve your spot, because our software has a limited number of people that can actually join us live. And in the past, when I've done these live workshops, we've hit capacity every single time. And as an added bonus, when you sign up for the investor workshop, you're also going to get Market Briefs, which is my newsletter for investors, completely free. It's read by hundreds of thousands of investors every morning. And when you show up live on my investor workshop on June 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, noon, you're also going to get a free digital copy of my company's new book, How Money Changed Forever. But to actually get a digital copy of this book, you have to actually show up live on June 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, noon. So if you're an investor, I invite you to join me for my live investor workshop on June 16th. If you have not registered yet, again, I have that link for you down in the description below. The first thing you want to understand is we've seen a number of countries around the world reduce how much money they're lending to the Federal Reserve Bank. For example, over the last decade, we saw China become a net seller of United States dollars instead of being a lender to the United States. And if we also take a look at the largest foreign lender to the United States, Japan, It also looks like they've also been selling off some of these United States loans. Now, I'm not going to go into the reasons why certain countries or certain entities are not as interested in lending money to the United States government today. Just understand that it has to do with concerns about inflation, has to do with concerns about our economy, their economy, and a lot of other geopolitical factors. But the thing you have to understand is what happens if there is not enough demand for these treasuries. Because the thing you have to remember is every year when the government has this deficit, they're spending $2 trillion that they don't have. This amount is rolled up into a number called our national debt. Right now, we have around $39 trillion of national debt. And the reason why this number is so significant is because the government has to pay this money back plus interest. Well, the interest rate that the government pays is the treasury rate. Because why would anybody lend money to the United States government? The reason why they do that is because the government pays you back plus interest. And every financial book, every economic book will tell you that lending money to the government is the safest investment you can make because the government will always pay their bills because they can just raise taxes or they can work with the Federal Reserve Bank to print money. And so they have the ability to pay back their debt. Well, if there is a growing amount of debt, your interest payments go up. Not to mention that the interest rate today on our debt is a whole lot higher than where we were during the pandemic time. That is why the fastest growing expense for the United States government is not our military, it's not healthcare costs, it's not infrastructure, it's interest payments on our debt. So more and more of your tax dollars are being used not to provide you a service, but just to pay the interest on this debt. Well, here's where things get very interesting. Because if we understand now how basic economics work, supply and demand, the interest rate that the government pays on these treasuries depends on supply and demand. We know that the government is going to continue spending money that they don't have. This is a given. Well, if they spend money that they don't have, there has to be buyers of that debt. There have to be lenders to actually give the United States government money. Well, if there's so many lenders out there, if everybody wants to lend money to the government, banks are throwing money at the government, foreign countries are throwing money at the government, well, now the government has a lot of potential lenders. And because there's so many people that want to lend money to the government doesn't have to offer a very high interest rate because there's so much interest, there's so much demand. But let's flip the script. What happens now if some of these lenders go away? The Federal Reserve Bank now is not in the picture. Some of these foreign countries are not in the picture. People are less likely to lend money to the United States government because they're concerned about inflation, they're concerned about the economy, they're concerned about the dollar, whatever reason. So there's less interest in lending money to the government. Well, now the government still needs to go out and borrow that money. And if there's not enough people giving that money to the government, well, then they have to raise interest rates. And if the government raises interest rates, that has a trickle-down effect to every part of our economy. The first thing that happens is, well, now the debt cost at the government is higher. When the debt cost at the government is higher, that means more of your tax dollars are being used not to provide you a service or to give you value, but to pay interest on all of our debt. The second thing that happens is your bank says, oh, the government is now paying a higher rate of interest. And because the government is paying a higher rate of interest, you have to pay a higher rate of interest. Because if you don't, why would we, the bank, want to give you money for a mortgage at 7% because the government is giving us close to that? You're going to have to pay us even more. So as these treasury rates go up, your mortgage rate goes up, your car loan rate goes up, your credit card interest rate goes up, business loan rates go up, and it makes borrowing for everything more expensive. That's why when people try to predict where is the mortgage market going to go, they take a look at these treasury rates because banks take a look at what this treasury yield is, what is the interest rate that the government's paying, and then they price their mortgage rate on top of that because you are a more risky borrower than the United States government. And that's the question now that everybody has, which is how is the Federal Reserve Bank going to start selling off these treasuries, reducing the balance sheet? So going from a buyer of these treasuries to the government to now a seller of these treasuries, right? Because right now we're doing these reserve management purchases where we're creating money and buying treasuries. How are we going to go from a buyer to a seller and continue to fulfill all that demand for these treasuries through the private market because we don't see that private demand today. Kevin Worth says that private demand will show up. The question is, how? Could we see the United States government now come in and force entities to lend money to the United States government to make up for the Federal Reserve Bank not lending money? I don't know. We've seen it happen in the past. Even very recently, President Trump ordered Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to go out and buy hundreds of billions of dollars of mortgage bonds. Now, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are not completely private entities. They're known as GSEs, government-sponsored enterprises. And what that means is they're kind of private, but they're backed by the United States government and kind of have to do what the government says. And so when the government said, go out and spend hundreds of billions of dollars buying these loans, meaning mortgage-backed securities, they had to do it. Could we see something like that happen in the treasury market? Again, time will tell, but these are the things you want to pay attention to because at the end of the day, there are only 3 options that can happen. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.